Ryan?
Yeah. I'm Ryan, that's me.
Yes, that's you. I'm Braxton. I'm
You are
slightly
Braxton.
upset.
What's wrong? Did you have someone step on your toe this morning, or did you drop your phone?
No one stepped on my toe.
That's good.
I dropped my phone a while ago.
Okay, that's right.
But as you know, last time we talked about the Unearthed Arcana.
I do. Yeah.
Warlock and Sorcerer.
That was a good episode.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I had a fun time.
It was a good episode. But do I even have this out on my phone right now? You'll have to maybe give me an assisting.
An assisting?
No, I don't have it in front of me. Yes. Assist my rolls.
Okay.
There's now more Arcana that has been unearthed.
That's fun. I wonder where they found it. Looks like Jeremy Crawford found it somewhere.
Yeah, I was on my way home today. Stop! We don't have time for all of these subclasses.
Yeah, that's a whole lot. And then this is what they're doing. They understand that we need some more content to talk about. So now
they're not already dry yet.
So they're giving us unlimited resources. The second we get close to finishing this series, they're just going to release some more. Instead of the Dungeon Crawl, this is now the Unearthed Arcana podcast.
Oh, I'm so worried that might actually happen.
And then we can take breaks. We don't have to always be talking about psychic warriors, soul knife rogues, and psionic wizards.
Well, I've got like this love-hate relationship with the Unearthed Arcana now. Like,
why?
I love it, but it's stuff I can't have.
Well,
immediately. And now they just throw more out, and
is
it's
that
like, okay, we'll be
how
done
you
with...
like it in Christmas? Whenever you know you're going to get something, are you angry about it?
Well, I've got a little secret.
Yeah.
We haven't really done Christmas in the past like 4 or 5 years because of that.
But
they just give us money now.
Because of that reason? Because you'd get angry?
Well, just give me money and I'll buy the thing that I want.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, now that we're adults, we can buy what we want.
As an adult, that's how it is.
Yeah.
But
it's like, why wait for Christmas when like I have money? Let's buy it now.
Yeah, I have the internet and I can shop around and look and see the things that I want.
I can find things on sale.
I think that this thing exists in the world. Mom, Dad, buy it for me for Christmas.
Buy me shoes and socks, things I don't want to normally buy myself.
Can I have some socks? I actually do need some socks.
Might have holes in them.
You know what I don't need?
What don't you need?
But I also want more freaking subclasses.
There's none for warlocks though, so you're fine. Yeah, as long as they avoid the warlock, so you'll make it easy on you.
Why?
They're definitely leaning on to the, like we talked about last time, definitely leaning into the psionic stuff pretty heavily.
Yeah, there was one comment on that tweet that it said the psionic stuff in 5e just never really is that great.
Yeah, so hopefully they're pimping it.
Hopefully.
Pimp my spells.
Pimp my spells. I don't know, but it's got me definitely in a rage, Ryan.
Got you in a rage? Well, you know what else is in a rage? Hold on, before I continue on that, how many times have we done that type of segue? You know what else has this? I think we did it 3 times in the past like 10 minutes that we've been, not even 3 minutes that we've been doing this podcast. I didn't even intend. I even thought to myself, I'm gonna say something different, and then I couldn't, and it came out.
I didn't even notice. That's how smooth it was, Ryan. I don't think anybody else realized until you said it.
Well, Barbarian's Rage. See, now my segue is lost. I don't even care anymore. Barbarian's Rage.
They do indeed. The Barbarian and the Monk are on the same page.
Mm-hmm, yeah, we are continuing some more on Unearthed Arcana stuff this time, where we talked about Path of the Wild Soul.
All I can hear is, what is that guy? He's pink and he's got green hair and antlers and he's in Magic the Gathering.
Pink and he's got
Magic.
green?
Sorry. No. Is it Hearthstone? It's Hearthstone.
Pink and he's got green hair.
Something the Wilds.
Oh, are you thinking of oh my goodness. I can see him. Cenarius? No.
Him.
Yeah? No.
You know what's funny right now? We've actually got 2 of my very good friends listening.
I can
on this
hear
Discord
it.
Chat. I can hear.
I can hear and see the exact guy that you're talking about.
He's
Malfurion, maybe.
Malfurion.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, got it.
That's it.
Holy moly. Malfurion.
That guy. So that's I see this Primal Path and Path of the Wild Soul for the Barbarian. That's all I can hear.
Really? He's more druid-like.
Yeah. I know, but Path of the Wild Soul. Just can you hear it?
No.
It's the Feywild.
Okay, I can see the Feywild part coming through. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's dive into it a little bit.
Let's dive into.
Let's diddly do it.
So again, kind of going last time, we'll be going off of a couple of different characteristics, the lore side of it, all the fun role playing RP stuff that you can get crazy like with, as well as the then the important things coming in the game, the mechanics, and then our final thoughts on the whole class as a whole.
Hey,
what the heck?
Hey guys, you forgot something.
You yelling at somebody?
Hey, don't forget this is playtest content.
Nice.
So it is playtest. The reason I've gotten so annoyed when I saw that text, that tweet when I was walking home is,
sure,
we're a podcast. We like content to cover, so it's great. I should be happy. But there's so much stuff coming out, and it's unofficial, and it makes me annoyed. I just release a book.
Hold on. Rein it back for a second. The fact they're releasing this much, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the most that they've ever released back to back. I mean, it's only been like 4 months or so since the Warlock one was released, something like that. And
they haven't released anything else for the Warlock. Well, they have actually.
What I'm saying is they got to be ramping up to something at some point. Obviously, they're going to be testing these probably for the next few months or maybe a year, and then boom, planar book, psionics everywhere.
But you don't like spoilers. Wouldn't you have just rather have seen this all at once in a book?
I want to make sure that it's balanced.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, see? I'm okay with it.
Okay. I'll pull my primal path away from here.
Nice. Okay, so
yeah.
The path of the primal soul, as Braxton mentioned, is fey wild in nature. And I think that's sick. There's not much Feywild stuff that's touching on. Actually, most of the stuff that we've been doing, it's been in this Unearthed Arcana stuff, like we said, was planar stuff. And planar stuff hasn't been covered too much, at least in 5e. And so I'm excited to see them going a little bit deeper into it. And I never realized, I didn't really think about it, but barbarians can fit quite well in with the Fey, especially with the little quote that they have there with beauty and unpredictable emotion. That's pretty Fey to me. What?
Magic in my barbarian? Nah.
That's cool. It gives them some more options, man. Who are you to say?
I'm sorry.
Who are you to say we can't have fun, huh?
I'm of the camp that warlocks should be the only ones who have magic.
Wait. What about wizard? What type of wizard doesn't have magic?
The kind that is now a monk because he has a staff.
I don't know if I follow.
Yeah,
he's crazy,
and
I'm glad you're not making 5e.
Warlocks need more things, please and thank you. But let's continue with the barbarian.
I think
what is this path of the wild soul?
You know what we should do, Braxton? You should hold me accountable for this, and anyone out there listening, hold me accountable. Hold us accountable. I would love to do an episode on each plane. That'd be fun. I'd love to talk about the Feywild. I love Fey stuff.
That could be really fun.
So I don't think you know much about the Feywild.
How to world build. I know literally nothing outside of the material plane.
See, yeah, that'd be really cool. Because I know some things and you don't know anything, and we just come together and you ask questions. I tell you what's what. I'll be your guide through the planes.
I'll be your guide today through the planes.
The planes, my friend.
On the Agrarian airline. Please take your seat. I can't keep that going because I've never been a flight attendant.
But Feywild's cool. And I think, again, like I said, I never really thought how well that type of barbarian could fit in with the Fey. Because they are very unpredictable. They have lots of emotions, lots of explosions of expression, as it says. I think it's super cool.
What is Arcane Rebuke?
What is Arcane Rebuke? Where are you seeing that?
Path of the Wild Soul features. They get new spells, like at level 3, Lingering Magic Wild Surge, 6th level, Magic Reserves 1d4, 10th level, Arcane Rebuke. You know what that reminds me of?
What does it remind you of?
The Hellish Rebuke.
Oh, Hellish Rebuke.
Is it similar?
I mean,
10th level.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you point your finger at something, and if they're damaged you, and it does 2d10 force damage.
Is that it?
Kind of.
At 10th level?
No, I think it means you get that at 10th level. It's not a 10th level spell. Because 10th level spells don't exist. It only goes up to 9th level.
My brain just freaked out. They just get Arcane Rebuke at 10th level.
That's one of the things, yeah.
3d6 force damage.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Braxton.
Yeah.
You're going too fast.
You skipped way ahead. I see what you were looking at.
Ahead. I skipped one paragraph ahead.
No.
And then followed that to the place that it is.
Yeah, but you're skipping levels, man. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So that's the base. Magic. That's the base lore stuff. Is that they come from the Feywild? I think as a character that could come with some really cool aspects. That maybe you're an elf, maybe you're not an elf, maybe you're born from the Fey Lords, maybe you're just a random dude that happened to grow up somewhere, then got teleported into the Feywild. Who knows? The possibilities are endless in this fun world of.
I mean, to give
fantasy.
you a thought, think about how topical Pokemon. There's a dark fairy type that came out named Grimmsnarl. He's a big hulking fairy dark type guy. And kind of think about that. It's like works with barbarian. He's very muscular, but with a different sort of thing. And he's mischievous. I don't think of a barbarian that is
Fey-like,
spooky Fey-like, and pops in and out and teleports everywhere. And it's kind of crazy.
I'd say spooky.
They can be kind of spooky.
They can, yeah, but Fey are much more, like you said, mischievous. I think that's a much better word to put it.
Yeah,
they like that one. messing with you. Messing with Sasquatch, messing with your players.
Sasquatch. Mm-hmm. So I mean, right off the bat, Ryan,
super interesting.
They get a thing at third level whenever they get to go into
magic.
This thing.
It says it right up there. Lingering magic, like Braxton was saying, magic and barbarian.
Their body now begins to react to the presence of magic. You can cast the detect magic spell without using a spell slot or components.
Can I say how much I love that real quick? Can I say it?
Go ahead.
I'm saying it. I love that. I think it's really cool. Mainly for the fact that, okay, so I usually play as a DM, right? Mm-hmm. You're more often than not, at least you, in the past, have been in the player seat. Let's say you're a cleric or a wizard or someone who has detect magic. Are you going to waste a spell slot? Granted, maybe waste, you're already seeing where I'm going with this. Are you going to use...
what class did you say that I was?
This is fantasy. With everything.
Can I be a warlock in this situation? Do I also have the invocation that allows me to cast magic at will without using a spell slot?
Without using it? Does it say without using a spell slot?
Yes.
Well, that defeats my purpose. My point of it is saying, would you use a spell slot to cast detect magic when you have other spells you could be using instead?
How many spell slots do other classes get?
Depends.
I don't know.
For example, in our game for the past year, I think detect magic has only been cast once. Granted, it's probably not super necessary to be cast, but I think I like this because it allows them to use it more than just than feeling like they're wasting a spell on this.
I mean, I'm just joshing. I think this is really cool because a lot of the magic that these guys get is not tied to spell slots, and I don't actually think it's tied to any spell slots. It's just abilities that they get. So imagine you've got all these studious wizard guys, and this barbarian comes up and just glows.
Big buff dude.
He's just like, there's magic here. I can taste it in the Feywild. They speak to me. And then he glows.
Thanks, Joe.
Because the next thing is you can make Constitution your spell casting ability for that spell, and you faintly glow a color responding to the school of magic that you
How much do you think you glow? Like, could you be a torch walking through a cavern?
I guess it doesn't give that value, but it does say faintly. And if there is a way to tie faintly to dim or bright, then yes.
I just get a picture of the party. Oh my god, I can't see anything. It's so dark in here. Hold on, give me a moment. And then boom, this barbarian just evokes this green energy.
And then he goes, also there's necromancy about.
I feel like that could be a more useful thing to say first, but thank you.
I mean, if he's glowing, there's magic.
That's true. Which leads us
Ryan, we're getting stuck. We got to keep going.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Which leads us to wild surges. And wild surges are can create for some pretty ridiculous moments. I've been, I would say, lucky to not have to deal with wild surges in our games. I mean, I'd almost put them, at least there are some tables, and there's some tables that people have made their own, like D100 wild surges, and those can get really wacky.
This is a D8, Ryan.
Yes,
Can you do something for me?
Yeah, sure, I'd love to.
Give me a D8. Do a little roll.
Okay.
Give me a little roll. Tell me your number.
4.
Okay, you roll a 4. You use your Wild Surge.
Well, how did
Starting
I
at
use
third
my
level.
Wild Surge?
Yeah. Starting at 3rd level, magic erupts from you as you
Yeah!
rage. You enter your rage and roll on the Wild Surge table. So as soon as you do your fun thing where you start attacking a lot of people, you roll a 4, and arcane energy enshrouds you until your rage ends. You gain a measly +2 to your AC.
Whoa, that's
and
tiny.
Whenever a creature within 10 feet of you hits you with an attack, that creature takes force damage equal to your Constitution modifier.
Huh.
So +2 AC and up to 5, depending on what game you play, force damage every time somebody hits you with an attack within 10 feet of you.
That's not too. I mean, reading through the D8 table, it's nothing that's gonna break your game.
No.
They're fun
But
little
it's
things
still-
that will add while you're raging, and I think that's a cool little thing to have.
Yeah, there's something small as like if you had just gotten one number higher, plant life temporarily grows around you until your rage ends. The ground within 10 feet is difficult terrain. I enjoy it because this is essentially 8 spells that you have
Yeah.
that you don't get to pick only when you rage, which is a valuable
And it
resource
allows
that you
for
can't
some
do
kind
infinitely.
of thinking on your feet. You rage at the beginning of combat, and each combat will then be different because you'll get a different number, and you'll have to react differently to what you get. It's a cool little
Mhm.
thing.
Are any of them inhibiting?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, for this, something like that would really not be fun.
Yeah, because you rage pretty much every combat.
I'm sure they entreated the idea of doing things like that. But
As we were talking about earlier, Brax says we know too much about the Wild Surge stuff. For Sorcerer, that only happens if you, I believe if you cast a Sorcerer spell and then roll a 1 on the D20, like you roll a die after every spell you cast. And if you hit a 1, then you roll in the Wild Surge table. And so that is much rarer and has some pretty crazy stuff that can happen. This is a
That's
lot
pretty cool.
less intense. And I like it.
So, any of these your favorite?
Yeah, I always like the kind of creepy stuff. I like 1 and 7, 1 being necrotic energy bursts around you. As a DM, describing all these things that happen or letting the player describe them, I think can be really cool. 7 having shadows weave around your weapon and you do extra damage, like psychic damage instead. And I don't know. I think it's really cool.
So, these are fun effects, but how relevant are they as you get into the later levels?
Well, like I said, the 7 one can, because your weapon deals psychic damage. That could be important if something is resistant to bludgeoning damage or slashing damage. That could be useful.
So, I guess I'm kind of alluding to later, and always when you're reading this playtest material, is how does an ability that you get early on stay relevant later? And they do address this. This was my first worry when I first saw this, because doing 1d10 necrotic damage to something and gaining temporary hit points for that at level 20 is not going to do anything for you.
Yeah, it's not that helpful.
But you'll see when we get later.
Ooh.
Some things happen.
Well, that leads to possibly the most interesting aspect of this barbarian, the magic reserves section.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
This happens at 6th level. And just in layman's terms, this allows the barbarian to channel some magic energy inside of them and gift it to other creatures, giving them spell slots equal to the number of a die that they roll on a d4. The issue that I have with this...
Warlock?
No. That's okay. I'm more than all right with that. I think that's what they were thinking when it comes to this. My issue that I have with this is there aren't any it's not a consumable resource. All it does is you take force damage equal to 5 times number rolled, which is a lot of damage, but if you combine that with someone who's healing you, technically you could do this infinitely. It's not a consumable resource. It doesn't if it reduced your max HP, that'd be different. Currently, if with enough time, granted, and with enough luck, this could be considered infinite, but it's very rare for that to happen. Either way, I don't see this will live into the final product.
Yeah, I think they'll adjust it, but if you think in terms of very consistent numbers without rolling, you would have to use this on a cleric who would heal you, and then you would use it again, so it's like an infinite even. But the nature of the game is pretty much not randomly generated numbers, but it's dice that you roll.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you all get where Ryan is kind of going here.
Yeah,
cool.
I don't think this will live to its current final form. I think it'll tweak, like I said, maybe give it a consumable resource, have it reduce max HP instead of normal HP, something. I don't know. But I think also if you as the DM are giving them enough time to just to keep rolling and doing this type of stuff, and it's a stressful, so like they're doing this in the middle of a dungeon, then you're also doing something wrong. Have encounters come up to negate this opportunity.
I think there should be more ways to get spell slots back. Still tough, yes, because that's a very important resource, but I guess magic items do exist.
Yeah, well, the tough thing is because then that changes the whole balance of the whole world and stuff, you know.
Yeah. But hey, this guy's a warlock's best friend, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I mean, so is the spell catnap.
Wait, what?
Catnap? Yeah, technically it's a long rest, I believe, but it takes a long rest in 10 minutes instead. Not everybody gets to use it.
Wait. So I would have to use a spell slot to get a 10-minute long
No,
rest.
not you. Someone uses it on you. It's a wizard spell.
I got something to tell our party later.
Yeah, it gives them it is the benefit of a short rest. So it's basically, it would help you.
Yeah, I got
And
something
it
to tell our
lasts
party
10
later.
minutes. But you'd have to convince them to use one of their spell slots on just you getting your spell slots back.
They got so many. So many.
Mm-hmm.
How many do
Though it is up to
sorcerers
3.
have at level 8?
It depends. Again,
Like, what level spell is it?
it's a 3rd level.
3rd level spell slot. That's not too bad. We're at 4th level spells. But Arcane Rebuke.
Arcane Rebuke. What is that,
Do you feel the
Braxton?
foreshadowing? That is like one of my favorite spells.
It
Hellish
is like
Rebuke.
one of your favorite spells.
The Hellish Rebuke scales. It's a 1d10 at level 1. But
Gotta be
this,
raging.
at 10th level, if you are raging, the magic crackling within your soul lashes out when a creature forces you to make a saving throw.
Not when you're damaged, though, which is interesting.
Yeah. So if you have to save any way, shape, or form while you're raging, you can use your reaction to deal 3d6 force damage to them.
That can be quite nice.
Yeah. It's
And you see,
cool.
there's no save for them to make for half damage.
No.
Just
So
3d6.
that's the balance there. But
Yeah.
does it stay relevant? Because because you
it
do
always
a lot of saves at high level.
Extra damage is always nice.
Yeah. Well,
It
if
adds
you're
up,
only
man.
doing
It
one
adds
damage.
up.
It does. So that one's pretty short and simple, short and sweet.
Yeah,
Arcane
I think
Rebuke.
it's great, cool extra defensive options for a raging barbarian instead of just being a pure tank that just is taking the full damage.
Yeah. This could be a very fun character to play.
It could
And then
be.
Next is the Chaotic Fury.
Yeah. So this, I'm assuming they're referring to the exact same table, the Wild Surge table that was just there. And that's still not, I shrug, it's cool, another extra cool thing to add on. But like Braxton was saying, one of these at high levels, especially at 14th level, is that super relevant. 2 of these, maybe it will help balance that out. I don't know.
So, I don't know if we said it, but as a bonus action, you can re-roll on the Wild Surge table, replacing your current effect with a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So at surface level, it's like, okay, it's letting me change the one that I got.
Yeah.
But no, you've already activated and possibly have used the effect of a Wild Surge that
So I
you've
guess you
used
just
already.
keep doing it.
So rather than having to rage over and over again, you can now
Try to
turn it
find the
on
one
and
you
off
really
or
want.
keep getting a new one. So I think this is one of the worst parts of it. This is very lame for a 14th level thing.
Yeah.
Feels really similar to the Hexblade, just move your hex around. But even that's starting to interest me a little bit more.
Oh.
Yeah, sure. Sometimes I take my complaints away. But this is...
I mean, it's not...
it's a
Again, you
thing.
have to also compare it to other 14th level things of a barbarian. For example, in the player's handbook, for the Path of the Berserker, their 14th level slot is retaliation, not slot, but their ability thing that is when you take damage from a creature that's within 5 feet of you, you can use a reaction to make a melee weapon attack against it, and that's the entire thing. Sure, and have extra weapon attacks, great. But it seemed like their 14th level stuff is not nearly as big as, say, the stuff we were reading last week.
Yeah, and guess what, everybody?
What are we guessing?
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks? That's all they get?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty... I mean, I think it's pretty cool.
It is cool. It's it's light, but again, barbarians already have a lot of great things. This is a subclass. They still have everything that they get in the regular barbarian path.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's my final thoughts on it. Super cool, more planar stuff. I like Fae. I'm all for delving more into the Feywild. I imagine the book this comes with will probably have more Feywild information in it. And a magical take on the barbarian. I think it could find a cool place within their subclasses.
Yeah, you could play a barbarian pretty in pink.
Pretty in pink. You could be Malfurion.
Yeah. See? That's exactly what he looks like. Yes.
Yeah, he is shirtless most of the time.
That is what I think, and I'm pretty sure he's of some sort of wild or fae.
Yeah, but he's a druid in the game.
I know, but I can dream. So, something exciting happened.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I feel now is a good time to make this transition. I don't know if this is going to keep happening, but you know what? I was doing what people do at 5 a.m. and not I got up early 5 a.m., but I've not been asleep 5 a.m. And I got an email from Gmail.
Oh,
yeah.
Gmail sent you something?
But no,
that's nice.
It wasn't my personal or my work email. It was something from the Dungeon Crawl Pod at gmail.com.
Say what? Was it Buzzsprout saying that
our time's up and we suck so bad that we need to get off their website because we're terrible?
That'd be a harsh email to send out, wouldn't it?
It would be a really harsh email, but that's not what we got.
Oh.
Writing in for the first time is one of our listeners, Carcer. And Carcer asks, "Hey guys, I just caught up to the world building episode and I wanted your advice.
First of all, Carcer, if you just caught up to the world building episode, hope you're loving it. Hope you're enjoying your time here. But hopefully by the time you get to this episode that we answer it, hopefully this is not useless to you."
Yeah. And you'll see what we talk about in a second. But he says that his players are going sailing on a 2-week cruise to an island full of mechanical creatures. However, he is worried about keeping the sea voyage interesting without just being a bunch of encounters. Any thoughts? And he also offers to help us work on a Discord. So that would be cool.
First of all, I think that sounds great, man. That sounds super cool. I love cruises, and I love cruises with going towards mechanical creatures. I think, Eberron kind of brought some more mechanical creatures into the forefront. I don't think that's really touched upon too much. So good thinking, Carcer. Nice thoughts.
So, Ryan, how coincidental is this?
Strangely so. So for the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months of my...
particularly in the session prior to this, we'd been...
Hang on. Can I build up to a moment?
Okay.
Yeah, step away for a second.
Back off. Yeah, I'll get out of here. Wait.
My party has been slowly, in my campaign, has been slowly working towards heading to a pirate port town, and I knew that they were going to be getting on a vessel and procuring it southward. Literally in the session before this email came in was the one where they had just left port and was beginning to head south to their new port of arrival. And so I've been doing, last couple weeks here, I've been planning encounters to try to make it interesting instead of just, saying, okay, you leave and you get there, boom, yada, yada, yada. So,
to make it even weirder.
Yeah, what's going on for you?
My entire campaign world is in some sort of shattered, massive archipelago. Mm-hmm. So I've been having to plan pirate stuff and boat things.
Whoa, hold on. Plan? I thought you improv everything.
I'm okay. I have to entreat the idea that at some point my players
you're
will
at least
be getting
thinking
on.
about it, which is good. Even if you're improving stuff, just having the thoughts in your mind is a good
my
thing.
players listen to this. I do plan some things. I plan a lot
Well,
of
it's okay.
things.
I mean, I also think it's important to not be knocking on improving. That's a completely valid form of DMing. So that's more than okay, man.
Real life is improv.
Yeah, we're all improv.
That's all I'll say. But Carcer, I don't know if you like are psychic or psionic, but I think we've got plenty of advice to give you.
Yeah, I like I said, I've been doing this nonstop. First of all, I think obviously you already know your world quite well since you're having a cool stuff planned out. But if you don't, I would recommend just figure out what is in between point A, point B. What is in between? For me, when I was planning out the stuff, obviously I looked at the map and I was like, okay, so they're gonna be passing by this area and passing by that and then passing by this and passing by that. What are those areas like? And it just so happened to work out that each day, kind of, they'd be in a different part of these. If I were to break it up into quadrants, they'd be in a different one of these quadrants. So to try to, I believe we probably mentioned it in the world building episode, if not in one of the other ones, talking about how when your players are traveling is a great time to introduce them, just kind of drop little nuggets of what the world is like outside of their little bubble. And so knowing your world, drop in small little details, small little encounters that exemplify what these areas are like. It's a great idea. What do you think, Braxton?
It is a great idea. So for me, if you're going more, not necessarily just the improv route, but things that come to my mind if my players jump on a ship
if you're just
and try
going
to go on a voyage.
Basic ship stuff. Yeah, if you're not want to do anything world stuff.
Again, as we've talked about before, encounters aren't just combat, but things that can lead to that. Maybe it's the opposite and you didn't plan too much, but you have a captain or whoever's on this ship gets a bit worried and there's some muttering around the ship as
mutiny
in the distance in a fog.
Oh.
No, it could, maybe that happens. But there's an uncharted massive island that shows up, or some sort of Bermuda Triangle thing that comes about. And you can even do what Ryan does and roll a die for several different scenarios and say you roll a 3 and that's a giant uninhabited island filled with something or this or that can last maybe for a small session or a little portion. If they decide to jump out on it, that's something you can do. Last session we had found the aftermath of this sort of fish-like people grouping of things underwater, and understood that they clawed at the bottom of a ship and eventually took the entire crew and turned them into, or was trying to turn them into themselves. But we knew that they clawed at the bottom of the ship and probably crawled up and stole them. So you can even have just random encounters of people jumping on the ship.
Yeah.
If you've ever played, what's it called?
Flag. Oh.
Quest? Is that what it's called?
Dragon Quest is a game, yeah?
Yeah, Dragon Quest 11. You're on a ship, and it's like Pokemon. You just move for a bit, and bam, an encounter shows up. That can be boring, but take what Ryan said, for example. Think about what area they're in, what might show up, and give them flavoring. Let them start understanding what these waters are like. Oceans are dangerous as hell.
Oh, yeah. I alluded this into my game, and we could even, if we wanted to even have a whole podcast, we could have a whole podcast talking about sea travel
stuff.
That when you're on a boat, you can start seeing the Lonely Island. Yeah, you can see if visibility is good that day, you can see for miles and miles and miles, and it's almost like a staring match between these two. If you see a ship, you just gotta pray that that's not a bad ship, especially if they don't have a standard up or anything. And you just kind of start heading your direct, and if one's fast and the other, they start catching up to you. You can make it a very tense situation and having the ship slowly creep up closer and closer and closer. And you gotta eventually, the party's gonna have to act in some way. Pirates are obviously always an easy thing.
Other people on board too. NPCs are your greatest tool.
They are.
They can interact in so many different ways. Just like your world has different locations and places that you can tell in lore books your party about. And there's so many things you can do with that. In one person is like an entire world in a brain.
Oh yeah.
So you've got a captain that is he's taking people on a cruise ship in D&D. How unique is that?
Yeah, he's probably got some stories to tell.
Oh yeah, and if a mutiny happens or something overcomes one of the patrons, There's so many things that you can instigate, even without planning, just in a moment.
Well, one of my first thoughts for a cruise ship is definitely having some sort of pirate attack. If people going on a cruise, they're probably pretty rich, right?
Murder mystery.
Or a murder mystery. Because I mean, you can't go somewhere, so someone on the ship had to do it.
Yeah,
A lot of
or
fun options.
maybe it's just 2 weeks of relaxation, and you really have some time for your players to speak with themselves. And if maybe your
Make some
party
tavern
is not
games.
maybe your party is not the type that can really speak to each other immediately. Get an NPC in there, start asking them questions. Ryan's really great about having an NPC pry into our backstories to merely make us think about it.
Yeah,
again.
make you start
And I think
talking about it.
Yeah, that's something that I think you're starting to do to me a lot.
Well, you just have people that you have an interesting personality. People, they want to figure out what's going on with you.
It's because I'm a warlock.
It's because you're a devil.
That's
Sorry.
also true.
Yeah.
Tiefling warlock, basic as you can get. But there's so many different things.
Yeah,
that you
don't
can
be
do
afraid to get
on this cruise.
stereotypical with it. Have a ship out there that's run aground, or you have a single survivor after a pirate attack. There's a guy floating on a plank or something. The plank wasn't big enough for two people to get on, so he watched his wife drown or something. Who knows? I don't know.
Any of your party members have water breathing, or is there a guy on board that can give your players water breathing? Is there an unexplored wreckage that has not been mapped on any Spelunker's charter or map before? There's so many things.
Storms?
I know.
Going some storms?
Oh yeah. Have like an encounter of trying to keep the ship afloat. If your party are great people, they can stop and try to.
Yeah, Matt Colville had a great video that 4E had this thing. Oh, I'm blanking on the name, but if you go through his stuff, you'd find it. It's about encounters that's similar to when we talked about a while ago. It actually might have been our combat that we did when we probably should have recorded a podcast. We were talking about combat. We've alluded to this multiple times.
Forever.
Yeah. But there's this mechanic in 5e about racing and stuff. And it's not super in-depth, but in 4e there was a much more in-depth one. And Matt Colville had a huge episode talking about how you can utilize this thing for different encounters, and having your party in a storm, having like tiers. And tier 1 is making sure the sails don't fall down. And then tier 2, making sure the ship stays afloat, and just you're taking water and chucking it off the deck, and they have to do different roles and keep things afloat, make it interesting, make it tense, make it crazy. Go find that video. Michael was cool.
Yeah. So, I was very excited about Carcer writing in. Thank you so much for, you say many thanks yourself.
Yeah, thank you,
Carcer.
Carcer.
Back to you. I really hope that this becomes a staple in our podcast. I think by the time many of you will have come to this episode, we'll have set up a Discord just like Carcer has suggested, with some channels that you guys can probably pop into, maybe give us questions as well. You're always open and welcome to shooting a message to thedungeoncrawlpod@gmail.com, or Ryan, give him the Twitter handle.
@DungeonCrawlPod.
Thank you. Anything
Check
like
us out.
that. Stay in touch. We'll try posting that on there
And
at some
please,
point.
like I said, send us some hate mail.
Send us some hate mail. Tell me to stop talking about warlocks. Or tell us about that thing that we couldn't think of the name of, please, dear God. But let's get back into the monk.
The monk.
Mr. Monk
Mr.
got
Monk.
a new tradition, doesn't he?
Yeah. The way of the Astral Self. Seems very
Now,
calming, doesn't it?
I hear that, and I just think of one thing, but we'll get there.
Oh, no. I know where you're going with it, too, and I haven't watched
We'll get
it.
there. We'll get there. You'll get there. So, of course, at 3rd level, when you get to pick your subclass,
Yeah. As a monk.
you gain the monastic tradition feature.
Mm-hmm. There's lots of cool options.
Lots of cool options. It's the way of the astral self, as we have mentioned. Keep some anime in mind here. Ryan, take it away. What is this all
about?
about?
Nose there. So the Astral Self, I think, is very cool because it's like, to me, it's like a monk living on the edge. They've been pushed to the brink
Of glory?
No, not exactly. It adds some cool, and there's a box there talking about the form of your astral self. You can describe what it looks like if you're buff. Got big muscular arms that come out as humanoid knight. Lots of cool features. And I always love when they give you these because while it may allude to them in their abilities, it's great to just have something to make you think, oh, you're right. It does. I can make that be whatever I want it to be. So it gives you something to think about. But again, more planar stuff, which I really like, which I think is really cool.
I'm just laughing.
And I think it can make for some really cool, interesting moments regarding the gods and other astral creatures, other astral entities. Anything in the planes is always a super, super fun touch.
God, I'm thinking of so many JoJo's Bizarre Adventure references right now.
I mean, it could be a big old reference to it. I want to put it past them.
Maybe, I don't know, but think about this. You've got a giant astral projection of your fighting spirit behind you.
Yeah.
It punches things and
It
starts
does
off as
punch
arms.
things.
It's so cool.
It has lots of
It's
arms.
basically that, or if you're more into Naruto, it's Susanoo, like the Uchiha can
What'd you call
employ.
me?
You heard me. How many
Let's,
times will we say that joke?
no.
So, I mean, let's dive into it, because
that's
this
all
one also.
Braxton's notes for this episode is talk about Naruto, talk about JoJo's. There we go.
How do you know I have notes?
It's all in his head.
It's all in my head. Anime. That's all I
Incredible.
think about. My Hero Academia has been going.
Oh, has it?
But let's get into this. Ryan,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah,
what
so
is this thing?
mechanically, after the lore stuff, which again I think is
After the
super
cool stuff.
super great.
What's the boring numbers?
Yeah, boring numbers. Yeah. We gotta get there some. You turn into Doc
Actually,
Ock,
Oh
or
my god.
or the other anime creatures that Braxton was talking about. So basically, sorry, my excitement got ahead of me. At 3rd level, your mastery of your ki allows you to summon parts of your astral self again, like it lets you talk about and personalize what these are. You can really customize and change yourself. You can go to Gucci, or you can color yourself green or yellow, or lots of different fun options. But they become spectral arms that hover out of your shoulders. How cool is that? It's like
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
no,
Stamp.
I'm thinking of
World.
there's this
Star
old
Platinum.
cartoon. No, I'm thinking of where you'd move and
Crazy
a robot would
Diamond.
move. I don't know. Forget what I'm talking about. And you'd fight big monster. Maybe
Red Hot Chili Pepper.
What? Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think Braxton's just yelling things now.
I'm definitely not.
It-
All of these things belong to one.
oh no.
All of the stands in JoJo's are based off of musical bands and people.
Okay, that's cool. I need to watch it.
It is cool. Yes. Okay, let's continue.
But it allows you to have extra attacks. You can use your wisdom modifier in place of your strength modifier, so you do a little extra damage for strength checks and not extra damage. Sorry, for just allows you to possibly, because you're not always the strongest monk. You can be. Wisdom's probably gonna be pretty high up there, so it allows you to use that instead of strength, or use that instead of strength. I'm getting ahead of myself here. To try to save against checks and different saving throws.
Right. So,
but the range
here-
the range is 10 feet.
holy heckers,
That's
Batman.
That's pretty big. So you could attack someone in front of you, then attack someone to your side. Isn't that cool?
Next, Ryan. Next, you're going to say Way of the Astral Self features.
Am I gonna say that? I didn't think I was.
Say it.
Way of the Astral Self features?
All of you JoJo fans out there, you're laughing.
Oh.
Which got him. I'm sorry. I'm done. It's okay. So, at 3rd level, you get the arms. At 6th level, you get the visage, probably.
Oh, the interesting
face
thing,
and
the last thing I have
chest.
to say about the 3rd level arms, the astral self, is I think the attacks they do begin to add up quite quick. And I think unless your player is or you as the player are prepared, this could bog down combat pretty early, especially at 3rd level where you're still possibly learning your abilities and whatnot.
Mhm.
But if you do have your stuff together, it can go pretty quick. So just something, because once you let's say you cast haste on somebody using this, that's a lot of attacks. It can get pretty nutty. So just go quickly. Know what you're doing.
I mean, let's keep going.
Roll
Let's
things
talk about the
fast.
arms. Did we talk about all of the things in the arms?
The main stuff.
Okay. All right. So should we go to 6th level?
I mean, I guess the main thing besides the extra reach is that the number of attacks do increase each when you hit certain levels that you get an extra attack at 11th level, and then you get 3 attacks at 17th level. So as Braxton said, for the barbarian stuff, I think this does definitely help keep it useful.
You've got to keep the power creep in check, or the lack thereof.
6th level.
When you get that good visage of your astral self,
Ooh.
which is, I imagine, like the face or maybe the chest.
My
on
persona.
your turn, you're able to see, literally. But all these things, Ryan, they come from JoJo. Persona is based off of JoJo.
Yeah, I know. I gotta watch it. I'll watch it.
Telling you, you watch it on your own time. I don't want to ruin it for you. You know how things go. I talk about something too much.
Don't have a whole podcast dedicated to it.
At some point. Maybe one day.
So,
you can spend one of your key points as a bonus action, which is dope. Or as part of summoning your arms, to summon the visage for 10 minutes now. Covers your face like a helmet or mask, so this is where it's starting to look more like Susanoo from Naruto. And you determine its appearance based on your character. That's more the flavor. Actually, there's some stands that wrap the... Okay, we'll keep going. So you get Wisdom of the Spirit, where you now have advantage on insight and intimidation checks.
I would imagine so, yeah. If I see that behind some dude, I'm going to freak out.
Also, for these 10 minutes, you can now see both magical and non-magically within, the darkness of those qualities, the magic and non-magical, up to.
And it lasts for 10 whole minutes.
So that's pretty freaking
for one
cool.
key, and you could always do it another 10 minutes after it's up for another key point.
Yep. You can summon bits and pieces of your guy.
Yeah, at 6th level, you have 6 key points, so you could just do this for a whole hour if that's all you want to do that day.
Yep. So, I mean, there you go.
And it allows for more cool kind of character building and world building moments as well. I really like it.
I would literally just play... Who's my favorite stand user? I like Giorno Giovanna a lot. Too much. Okay. Let's keep going.
Yeah, I'm just going to smile.
Let's awaken the astral self.
I'd love to do that, Braxton.
Go ahead.
At 11th level, this is the next ability that you get. You can tap into more powers. So basically all of these, if you couldn't tell, are kind of adding on to this astral feature. And this allows to, if you have your astral arms and the visage summoned, then you can get even more
key points.
Benefits. Yeah, so yeah, you gotta keep in mind your key points here, because it's also important to remember that even adding on to these features with key points, there are other monk features that utilize key points. So there are lots of things that they're gonna have to start juggling with their key points, which is cool. So this allows you to then, if you take certain types of damage, then you can use your reaction to deflect it, which I could see, like if you take a lightning bolt, it goes in one side and you shoot it out the other side. Isn't that cool? I think that was in Avatar. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. This is all anime, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, you just upset a lot of people or made them happy.
Why? What did I do? Because people don't consider Avatar anime because it's Western.
It's touchy, but yeah.
Interesting.
That's another.
Continuing, you also get your arms become empowered, so you can deal extra damage using your martial arts die, equal to it, that is. And then the final ability is when you speak through your visage, you can direct your words to a creature that you can see within 30 feet, as long as it can hear you, obviously. And then it can only hear you in itself, and you can amplify it. So all creatures within 600 feet. So you get basically, you can either kind of whisper to one thing, or just alert every single thing in the air or in the radius that there's some badass mother trucker in the area.
This is where you make the best JoJo's Bizarre Adventure references using the 600 feet loud voice.
Start shouting
yelling
stuff
about road rollers, Zawaldo. Ryan doesn't understand these things.
No. Maybe I should have watched it. Maybe I should watch it leading up to this episode. I didn't know.
I would throw some Japanese out here, but it would be both cringy and I'd probably wake somebody up.
It's not cringy. You know some Japanese.
I do. I may be near fluent in it, but it's still cringy because, it's me.
That's not cringy.
You're thinking it. Just imagine yelling at the top of your lungs.
I'm thinking
what I'm talking about.
It
was me.
I know what he's talking
Dio.
about. So, right. the final form, Braxton.
The complete Astral Self.
This is pretty nutty.
Your connection to your astral self is now 100% and complete, allowing you to bring it out entirely. And on your turn, you can spend a whole whopping 10 key points.
It's a lot of key points.
As a bonus action to summon the arms, the visage, and body of your astral selves for 10 minutes.
And that will leave you with 7 key points, by the way, because you have 17 at this level.
Good job doing the math, because as a warlock at my level, I only know how to count to 1 and 2 spell slots. The spectral body covers your physical form like a suit of armor, connecting with the arms and visage. You determine its appearance, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why they keep saying that. Your astral self is summoned. You gain the following benefits. Armor of the spirit. You gain a +2 to your AC while you aren't incapacitated. Specific note.
Now, I think it's also important to keep in mind, you get these features plus the ones from before.
Yeah.
You get all of them at once. This
is all basically like your spells have been picked for you, and you can cast them all at the same time.
I mean, you'd almost turn it, I mean, not as extreme as what to say it, but you almost kind of turn into, which makes sense as your astral self, turn into a god for about 10 minutes here.
That or a fighter with all of the maneuvers.
That's not as exciting.
But it's basically the same thing. Not as cool. You get an astral barrage whenever you use the extra attack feature to attack twice. You can instead, and I love this wording, attack 3 times using your now, instead of attacking twice, you can now attack 3 times rather than them saying you can attack.
But that's with your arms. It's not with your fists. So it is a little different. It's a little important to keep in mind.
Okay.
And I assume then you can also attack 3 extra times as a bonus action with the arms of the astral self feature from earlier. That's a lot of attacks.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. And that lasts for how long? 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Just think of all the JoJo references. You're coming like a freaking road roller at somebody, crushing them. Or maybe they didn't know it was you, and you tell them. You just make a Dio Brando character. Your final thing on this sheet is key consumption.
Yeah.
If you want to be able to do this again, all you got to do is if something within your reach, within your astral arms, 10 foot of reach, is reduced to 10 hit points. Not if you kill it, but if they're within your reach and are reduced to 10 hit points, you can use a reaction to gain key points equal to your wisdom modifier at a minimum of 1. So, think about that. Imagine if you're tanking all the hits, and one turn, one guy dies, and you get 5 key points. And then the next turn, your party members kill like another guy, and you have a reaction open again.
Yeah, you just have to get
and 3. All the key points.
You just have to get up to 3 again. You can do that again after this one fades off, because you'd be 7, and then you can use it again. You back up to 3. We have the 10, and then boom.
It's self-sufficient, man. Now compare and contrast that with the level 14 ability of roll your wild surge again.
Again, keep in mind.
But what's
the barbarian
14th
level stuff is quite different already. They're different classes, Braxton.
But how is this at all the same?
It's not. It's not supposed to be the same.
But one is obviously cooler.
Well, of course, one's obviously cooler. But think about all those barbarian guys out there that love just smashing shit. They don't want to be doing all this fun stuff anyway.
They just want to smash it.
They just want to smash it.
They just want to smash it.
And that's okay. If you just want to smash it, you just want to smash. I understand. Sometimes I just want to smash it. Yeah. Do I, though? I can't, no. Unless I go to one of those rage rooms.
I'm a warlock. I can't smash. Well, I'm playing a...
Yeah, you're smashing.
I can smash stuff.
So what are your final thoughts on this, Brax? What do you think?
I like it, and anything that is adding to D&D, especially from Wizards of the Coast, I love it. Mm-hmm. Just warn me before you just go in dry with another freaking 3 subclasses coming out just randomly on my way home from work. We should have been
every time these were released, we should have released a podcast about it. Now we're super behind. Then we got a lot to catch up.
Oh man, it's never gonna catch up.
And I'm about to say, at this rate, we're not gonna catch up.
No, and it takes us. Yeah, it's fun. I think Perfect doing 2. They're on a sheet together. It's great. We had a question in there. I think we managed our time.
And I do love this. I think this class is great. Again, more planar stuff definitely tickles my fancy. And it's definitely strong. Again, with that, especially with that final ability, I can definitely see this bogging down in combat, and combat already can get bogged down. So I would say if you're gonna take this,
I have 2.5 attacks, and basically it takes forever.
Yeah, especially and when you're hasted, it's like, okay, Braxton gets to play for about 10 minutes here.
I'm pretty fast with it.
Yes, you are. You are very fast. I'm being a little bit facetious there.
It still is a lot.
Yeah. So just be as we were saying, just be prepared in combat if you are going to take this. So
yes, I mean, why wouldn't you? You could be Joseph Joestar. Well, I take that back. All of you who think I know JoJo just laugh at me because he has not a great stand. You know, it's okay. Josuke. There you go. That's fine. You can be Josuke.
Yeah.
When you want to be Josuke?
I'd love to.
Josuke is cool. He's second only to Giorno. Sorry. This has been the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure podcast.
Apparently,
I am Braxton.
Yeah. I'll make sure I watch JoJo's for our next episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure podcast.
Hey, if you can get through the first episode,
that's what I've heard. Mainly from you. That's what I've heard.
I have been your source of infinite JoJo's Bizarre Adventure knowledge.
Infinite.
See me at my desk if you
send emails, not to the dungeoncrawlpod@gmail.com.
No,
send them
but
to specifically
if you ever
Braxton.
have dungeon crawl questions or D&D or anything like that, I really love talking about questions that you guys are dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're gonna try it as soon as they come in. We'll maybe put one or two in the middle, just smack there,
or 30.
In the end. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Or 30, maybe an entire. If you guys just send us a bunch of questions, maybe on our 20th episode, which that's asking for a lot. Maybe we'll just do all questions.
We already have plans for the 20th, so
we do. We're getting there. But no, you know what? If Witches of the Coast has their way, we're gonna be covering freaking Unearthed Arcana.
And that'd be a great break. You know, we don't have to live by the whims and breaths of Wizards of the flippin' Coast. I live on my own tunes.
It is their game, though.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go play Pathfinder.
Do it. Oh no, never mind. Well, you know what? Play. Yeah, we're all friends here. Play your favorite tabletop RGB, red, green, blue, lights.
I'd love to play that.
Just play your game. A lot of this advice can carry over.
100%. We're pretty system agnostic here.
System agnostic.
Except for when we're talking about Unearthed Arcana.
Except for we're talking about playing any other class other than Warlock.
Yeah. So maybe we lie.
The dungeoncrawlpod@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. Dungeon Crawl Pod for the Twitters and the Instagram.
Yeah. Also, make sure you rate us 5 stars on iTunes. It really helps out a lot. And you can leave us a review and say, I don't know, something stupid like pumpkin pie is the best.
Carcer, you could say they answered my question. It was terrible.
It was.
5 stars. Would listen again.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Say hi to 2 of my very good friends that are listening in to us right now. I won't give you their names unless they so wish to be named. But they exist. They're out there in the ether. Thank you guys so much. This was a really fun episode. I love doing this podcast. Again, I'm Braxton.
Oh, he's being wholesome now. Braxton, I love doing it with you.
Baka.
Did you say to me?
Have a good day.